Hi everyone, welcome to my channel and welcome to today's video. I hope you guys are having an awesome day so far. So today's video is going to be a review on this Zoeva eyeshadow palettes which I have purchased recently. So this is the Zoeva Opulence collection and I have the eyeshadow palette and also the face palette with me. I have done this eye look as well. I will be showing a short demo of the eye look which I have done, and I have also used this on my face as well, so you will get to see all of that. And I'll just share my thoughts on this palette as well, along with swatches and everything. So if you're interested in this collection from Zoeva, then please continue watching this video. Okay guys, let's get started. So these are the two palettes which I have got from the Zoeva Opulence collection, and this collection has launched pretty recently and I was super excited when I saw this collection. There is one more palette which is called the Zoeva Cafe palette or something. I am very interested in that one as well. I am crazy for Zoeva palettes. I have been collecting them for the past 1.5-2 years or so. I have 5 or 6 of them already, and this is probably my 7th Zoeva palette. I just love them. I can't recommend them enough. The eyeshadow palettes from Zoeva are very good quality, especially for the price which you're paying. Although I did pay a bit more for these two palettes. I don't know, they have increased the price or Sephora is just charging us more here in Singapore. I'm not really sure. So this is how the palette looks like. The packaging is just stunning. You can see I love this whole graphic which is there on the palette, and it is very similar to the other palettes which I have, as in the size and everything is very similar. So I really like that everything is same. The quantity of shadows which you get is also the same, so I can just keep everything together. So that's really nice for collectors like me. And when I open this palette, this is all the shadows which are in here. They're just so stunning. You have only one matte eyeshadow here and the rest of them are all shimmer finishes, and I just love the color layout, color scheme of the palette. These palettes, they don't come with a mirror, but I don't really mind that. It's a very sturdy cardboard packaging. None of the Zoeva palettes come with mirrors. A little bit more information about the palette. There are 10 eyeshadows as you have seen already, and each eyeshadow is 1.5 gram. All of these Zoeva palettes are made in Germany, and this palette particularly is good for 24 months. Unlike the other Zoeva palettes which I have, all of them are good for 36 months. But this palette for some reason is good for 24 months. That's another thing which I really love about Zoeva palettes, that they have a very long expiration date, so I can keep them for a longer period of time without any worries. And yeah, that's about it. All the ingredients are mentioned here. And as for the face palette, this is how the face palette looks like. This is also the same packaging and it's a little smaller in size. If you want me to measure, this is how the face palette is, a little bit smaller. And these are the 3 powders in here, very pretty shades. This one is almost the same shade as there, which is there in the eyeshadow palette. There you have another blush, another highlight, and each product is 3.8 grams in this one. And this one also has the same specifications, 24 months, good for 24 months, and made in Germany as well. Now before we go any further in this video, let me just quickly show you the swatches of these two palettes. One more look at the palette. This is how it looks. And these are all the shades in this palette. This is how they look. So this is how the first row of the palette looks like. You can see there is only one matte shade, that deep maroonish shade in the middle. That's the matte, rest are all shimmers. And this is how the second row of the palette looks like. So pretty, such unusual shimmer shades. Love that olive green kind of a shade. And this is how the face palette looks like, and this is how it looks when you open it. This is the highlighter and 2 blushes, and this is how the 3 shades look like. There's the highlighter and the blush, the 2 blushes. So those were the swatches. Let's talk about the eyeshadow palette first. You saw that the shadows are extremely pigmented. I did not really have to build up the swatches. They are pretty much one swipe pigmentation. So out of the 10 shadows, there is only one matte shade. So that's a very interesting layout of this palette. So if you're someone who is not really into shimmer shadows, this palette is not exactly for you. But if you want something shimmery and you love shimmer shadows, you don't have a lot of shimmers in your collection, I think you're going to like it. The shimmers are really smooth, but these are not like extreme intense shimmers. They are not like metallic finish shimmers. They are shimmery, they are very soft shimmers, so you can create very subtle shimmery looks with this palette. I like the quality of all the shimmers in this palette. They are very nicely pigmented. They are quite smooth as well. They are not highly intense, but very smooth. You will get a very good color payoff on your eyes. I have created this look today as well with this palette only. For any kind of depth which you want to add to your eye look, you can use this shade and this shade right here. These two shades are the deeper shades, and on my lower lash line I have this blue shade right here. So I think you can play around a lot with these shadows. These are very easy to work with. I have used my fingers most of the time. You can use stiff brushes or you can use sponge tip applicators. I think they will work pretty well, but I think for best results just use my fingers. And they are pretty long lasting as well, especially the matte shade. It's a very long lasting color. For the shimmers I would prefer a base, or I would prefer a primer so that they last on the lids for a longer period of time. And yeah, if you're interested in these shades from the Zoeva palette, I would highly recommend this to you. You can create very nice festive looks. So this is definitely a thumbs up from my side. I love the colors which are there. I love the color scheme. I love the whole theme of the palette. So this is definitely a good one. Next, let's move on to the face palette. So the face palette I've already shown. This is how it looks. It has one highlighter and two blushes. So this is how the palette looks like. So this blush shade is quite light for my skin tone. If you're someone close to my skin tone, this will not show up that well. This will show up well on fair to medium kind of skin tones. For my skin tone, I think I will have to mix a little bit with this blush and use it. This blush here is really pigmented, and I feel like this blush is a little bit more smoother than this one. So you have to be a little bit careful with this blush. It's very pigmented. Go with a light hand. You will see in the tutorial also that I used a little bit more here, so it was hard blending it out. So yeah, you have to be very careful with this blush. But this blush will definitely suit a lot of skin tones. If you are like on a fair skin tone, be extra careful. On deeper skin tone also, this blush will look really pretty. And then we have the highlight shade. I am wearing the highlight today as well. I thought the highlight was pretty smooth. It's really nicely buildable. It's not too intense, it's not too subtle, it's somewhere in between. I could build up the highlight shade on my skin tone, and I think this highlight works on my skin tone as well. This is more like I would say a light champagne-y, vanilla champagne-y kind of a highlight. So if I apply 2 or 3 layers and build it up a little bit, it will work on my skin tone. If I apply too intensely, it will probably look like a patch. So if you're fair to medium skin tone, I think you can build this up and create a more intense highlight. But for my skin tone, I would prefer to go it with a light hand, probably use it as a subtle highlight, apply just 1 or 2 layers and build up this much. I think this much is still okay. It's not looking like a very stark highlight. So for the face palette, I would say it totally depends on your skin tone and your preference with blushes and highlights. As for the quality is there. 2 of the shades, these 2 are much better in quality than this one, but the overall quality of the palette is quite nice. So those are my thoughts on the palette. Now let's go ahead and see both the palettes in action. I will show you how I have created this eye look, and I'll also show you how I have used the face palette. So let's go. Okay guys, let's get started. I have not really applied anything on my face. I will do my foundation later. I'll just do my eye look first. Okay, one more look at the palette here. So first of all, I'm just going to take this shade right here. There is not any kind of transition or anything. I'll just go straight into this shade and kind of apply all over the eyelids. So I will put it down near the lash line and I'll put it in the outer V. I'll just blend it out. I'll take it lightly outside in the outer V. Now comes the fun part. Now I'm going to take this shade, this golden, kind of a bronzy golden shade. I'll just tap it gently over the eyeshadow. Just back a little bit more. And I will blend this into the crease. And towards the outer V, I'm going to use this shade right here. Now I'm going to take this shade again in a little bit of a fluffy brush, and I'll take a very tiny bit and I'll just smoke out this area here and blend it into my crease. Okay, I think at this point I'm going to finish my base makeup and be right back. On the lower lash line, I want to use that blue shade, and I also want to use another shade in the inner corners, but I will do that after I am done with my base makeup. Okay, I am back. So I have applied my base makeup and I have set my face and everything. I have also applied bronzer, and next let's go ahead and finish the eye look. Next I'm going to take this shade for my inner corner. So next, let's add some more color to the eye. So I'm going to use this blue shimmery shade, and I'm going to use this to line my lower lash line. So taking a tiny little brush with the blue shade. And next I'm also going to take this light lavendery shimmer shade, and I'm going to apply this towards the inner portion, like inner lash line. So here's the finished eye look. I have applied mascara, liner and everything, and I love the eye look. I think it's turned out really well. Now let's go ahead and finish off the face. So for the face, I'm going to use my Zoeva Opulence face palette. I have already applied the bronzer, so I'm just going to tap a little bit on the blush. I think it's really pigmented, and I'm going to tap gently on my arms as well. So I'm taking that deep shade. Really pigmented. So you have to be very careful with that shade. It's not blending out because I did not really set my whole face, so it's kind of clinging to my base. So I'll try to fix this. Next, let's go into the highlighter. This is the highlighter shade, and this one I'm going to apply with the Real Techniques setting brush. The highlighter is a little bit powdery, I feel, but it's blending nicely, so it's okay. It's not an intense, not a subtle, somewhere in between. Definitely buildable. I'm going to use the same highlighter for my brow bone highlight as well. I think my highlighter and blush and everything is done. Now for lips. For lips, I want to go in with a glossy red lip. So I'm going to line my lips with this red lip liner from Bourjois. So that's it. That's the finished look which I have got for today. So that's it guys. With that, I have come to the end of today's review video. I really hope that this video was helpful to you and you liked it. As always, if you liked it, then please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. And if you're watching me for the first time, I really hope you'll consider subscribing to my channel. Thank you so much for watching me today. I will see you guys really soon in my next video. Bye.